It's time to manage those pennies with the help of our internal auditor, Crystal Howell. Good morning to you, Crystal.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning.
Happy
Yeah,
Monday.
good to see you.
Good to see you guys as well. How is everybody doing? I just heard the last segment and it felt like a lot to process.
Right.
It's a
So
lot.
think about think about that, and then that's regional travel, and a number of Barbadian pilots and other Barbadian workers would be affected by that liquidation of LEAC. Add that to
Yeah.
the $50 million that the NIS has had to pay in claims to those who are unemployed here in Barbados. $50 million in claims. That is a crazy amount of money. So it shows you how many people have now been out of work or have lost their jobs, and we're trying to help them survive and thrive after doing that. So where do we go today in helping them with this process?
It's not an easy process, and there's no magic answer or solution that will help everyone. But hopefully, by going through these different solutions, the ones that are applicable to you, and the things that persons may not have thought about, hopefully, they'll be able to take it into account and make sure that they use it going forward because it is a difficult situation. So continuing on from last week, we would have spoken about getting all your financial information together. Over the year, we've been speaking about making sure you track your expenses, track what you spend your money on, where your income is coming from, and that has become hyperdrive going forward. So the next thing that we want to look at once you've gathered your financial information is if you have anything, and it's gotten to this point, if you have anything that you may be able to sell.
Hmm.
If you
So,
have anything you can sell. Mm-hmm.
yes. So you have personal items, or you may have a private collection, and it may no longer be sustainable for you to be able to keep these items because of the situation that you're in. So many times, the first thing people may look to sell, unfortunately, is their vehicle.
Okay,
Yeah,
we're
so we're
following
looking
you.
at this situation. Yeah, and Crystal, as we look at this situation, it makes me think about people who have assets like land and
Yeah,
other bits to try to, and they may want to get some financial stability, something that, some money that could last them a long time. But in trying to
yes.
move off some of these financial assets in a time that a lot of people don't have money, that could be a task in itself.
It definitely is because this,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, right now is going to be a buyer's market and not a seller's market because so many people are in the same boat. You now have a flood of persons who are trying to get rid of, as you said, the land, maybe your vehicle, any personal assets that you may have. So, you know, the law of supply and demand. If there's a lot of
Yeah.
supply, very little bit of demand, you may not even get the full value that you would have been hoping,
Correct.
especially if it's something like land where you still have a loan on it and you have that responsibility to still look after. You are going to hope that you can at least sell it for the amount that would be able to clear the debt that you have with the financial institution. But again, before you get to any of these decisions, we mentioned last week, have an idea of what income you're making because even though you've lost your job, you may have other sources of income, what expenses you absolutely have to incur, and how long that is going to ride you out. So if you think that you may be able to get back a job before you run out of money, you may make a very
Mm-hmm.
difficult decision that you hold on to this particular asset because you hope for the best. But you have to have an idea of when you're going to cut off and realize this may not work out the way that I want it to. And I feel very is a heavy topic and is a difficult
Yeah.
conversation to have because you spend your entire working life sometimes saving and working for these things, and now you're forced into this situation, no fault of your own, no fault of your employer, but it's a difficult situation where now everything that you spent your life working towards, you have to decide if you're going to let it go.
Yeah. Well, you have to decide if you're going to hold on to your peace of mind. And that's usually what the toss up is. And you talk about surviving and thriving. I mean, sometimes you have to be grateful that you are surviving. Because everybody, like you've pointed out as well in previous discussions, people are at different levels or they're different situations. So people can't afford to do different things. So we have to
Yes,
be honest. I think that's the most important thing. We have to be honest about where we are, right?
very much so. Because I think persons create this illusion, and then when the reality hits, is then when they realize what actual financial position they are in. So the lifestyle that you may have had may have only been supported by the fact that you had a constant stream of short income coming in, and really and truly you
Mm-hmm.
may not be better off financially than some person who has absolutely nothing to their name. It's just a matter of how you manage the resources you have, how you manage your assets, and things like insurance and investments, because there are going to be people who have things like mutual funds and all sorts of other financial investments. You have a registered retirement savings plan. All these things that you're contributing to, you're going to have to decide, can I still afford to do these things? And as important as they are, I will always recommend you contributing to your pension, for example, because it takes care of yourself in the future. At some point, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to have to decide if the present person is going to survive if you
Yep.
keep contributing to that future person. These are the kind of tough decisions people are going to have to make, and none of it is easy. Again, I also encourage having conversations with the financial institutions, because even though most of the moratorium deadlines have passed or they're going to be up, today is the 29th, the end of this month, they're still having discussions about extending these moratoriums. So if you can use
Okay.
that advantage, where you can still probably keep your pension plan or keep your mortgage going, or any other opportunity to help extend the lifelines that you have, in the hopes that you plans that you have, because we did speak in the beginning as well, in terms of having plans to start having additional sources or alternative sources of income, take advantage of those as well.
Crystal, you're always a great help, and we will continue to need your services.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure in the weeks and months ahead, there are some tough financial pills to swallow. Sorry, and you will help us to do just that. Thank you so much, Crystal. See you next Monday.